Welcome back to Reactions, Rants, and Rabbit Holes. Rollen Green, Arcane-Gel, and Convolution 1 here, and I went back. I know very little, but I pretend to have lots of thoughts on that very little. So, what I was saying is, I was going to start ripping on myself right away. I was like, hey, I know I should be hopping on the bandwagon, and you try to go with what's hot and this and that. But the name of the damn song is Dystopioids. And I just was catching some flack in my comments from a Sleep Dope Smoker album, which I got a little ways into. And it turned out, I realized that the Weedoids and their marching music was really a thing for people. But I'd never heard of it before. I still was enjoying the experience, but they're like, hey, how could you never have heard of this before? Well, with no disrespect, I didn't know, right? Arcane-Gel, and what a couple reactions I've already done. I didn't know nothing about these artists until, let's just say, the internet and some other things introduced it to me in the last year. Would that take away from a single idea that the music has created? That's a rhetorical question. So, we're going to move on. Check out this song. I think the title's fire ass cool. And I've really been dealing with some interesting subject matter. And I'm a glutton for punishment. So, if you're a fan of the channel, it's a comment video, the Sound and Fury reaction for free over on Patreon. There's a, I don't know. I guess satanic rock and roll song that I reacted to, but that's relevant to the storyline. Then it hops over to a Rant video, and I was ranting away, so I've been ranting for two and a half hours. A Rant video. Then I went and heard some like Japanese or Chinese traditional I don't know, fucking horizontal harp for all I know, and it was cool. Thunderstruck came up with a great idea. I'll pitch it here too, so more people can hear it. But who does take every version of the Thunderstruck and get that mashup so you get them all playing at once? That's amazing. I'd watch that video. That went over on Patreon, but it'll come out. No, that went over on Patreon for everybody too. And this is going up Patreon early, but then coming out like Monday morning. Now I'm just saying all of that weighs into whatever I'm going to say next. So, I know. If it's already been too much, this is probably not the place to hear this song, but you should go check out the artist in the link down in the description and give love to the song if that's what you came up to do. I'm kind of like Rollen wrecks your favorite song sometimes, but not really, because it turns out I'm actually going to listen to the words being, that's what matters to me, what's actually going to be said. Weird.
Our convolution will not be streamed. Our convolution was yesterday.
Wait.
We're living in fear of a future that happened yesterday. Desensitized to when the time's on our center stage.
30 seconds. All right, I am a glutton for punishment, but that's okay. My honey says I like to lecture. That could be true if it was all wasted energy and I was blowing smoke up your ass. But I was thinking to try to see what I could take of it from the very beginning. And I mean, we entered, for me and my tinfoil hat duckies, I entered the next industrial revolution, transhumanist path to a not quite explained correctly to me New World Order. But it started, 2 generations before I was born. So the opening lines hit hard. I ask my honey all the time. He's like, hey, where did it all go wrong? And I'm like, damn, before I was born. And then honestly, I think that's true, because I'm a, and the Federal Reserve kind of crazy person. So I'm like, I think the control of fiat currency and, ones and zeros to get us in line is pretty shitty. Yeah, it's a harsh wind that blows through that shit. No kidding.
Our convolution will not be streamed. Our convolution was yesterday. Way
We're living in fear of a future that happened yesterday. Desensitized to when the time's on our center stage. Hiding debt like a victim hides abuse. Possessions won't save you, but they might disguise a bruise.
Well, that don't take a rocket science to figure that out. Here's the thing. So if let's say it's a young person someday, 10 years from now, and this still exists, and it's misery's not special. Go back to your great, at one point, there was a whole generation of women who ran into doorknobs, and I'm not justifying this bullshit, because there's that whole cycle that isn't it a damn shame that for as many people who like to force their will on others, there's an equal amount that are willing to endure that hell? So it's gonna be a reoccurring storyline at all, unfortunately, right? And I was reflecting on this earlier. This is why I'm a glutton for punishment, because I do believe reflecting on all sides of it. So, yep, you got to know the cycle of abuse exists, but then the nurturing cycle does exist and coexists at the same time, no matter how deep our misery and despair. So that you could leave the abuser because there are things so much better than that. But you have to be able to see outside the circle of abuse. And possessions are a good way to get blinded by that. Damn, that's good shit right from the get-go. Once again, I had a rather deep reaction today in the numbers and the same kind of deal where the music so outweighed the numbers it had on, where it was posted, where I found it. And so hopefully at least this amount of thought and care to what's created here, I think the artist has been nothing but appreciative, and I thank you for that. I enjoy it, and I try to be that's as least fake a thing I can do to your music as I have to offer, right? Everything else is a put on, in my opinion. But, this is what I got, because this is what I think. It's what it makes me feel.
When the time's on our center stage, hiding debt like a victim hides abuse. Possessions won't save you, but they might disguise a bruise. I'm low on energy, can barely afford it. Flicking through my luxuries, picking which to forfeit. On the edge of the first world poverty line, of words taste like the toast of economy wine. All relative, knock back a sedative.
Yeah, so then personally, outside of, let's say, the fourth wall, that illusion the record button creates. I was literally in the last reaction bitching about the dog has ruined every piece of carpet I have, so I just, have puppy pads all around a hard floor, because if you think I'm gonna, dog can't help it, he's mad at the cat. I ain't getting no dog psychologist, right? I live in a mobile fucking home. So I really relate so much more than and then none of my neighbors like talking to me because I'm this guy. And I'm not, country raised. It's a very interesting dynamic that comes up in individuals' lives, and they're unique. And then they're similar, which is weird. That's why I think we can reflect the way we do upon them. All my opinions are for entertainment purposes, as always, so you don't have to reflect. You could just be pissed off I don't listen to enough of the song.
economy wine, all relative, knock back a sedative, depression, a gateway to designer medicines that help to reach existential peace. Big pharma's charge a hefty
Big charge a hefty fee. You ain't shitting there. Now, didn't it just come out? And I don't know if that's right. I've been slinging the information, but I don't know how true it is. So you'd have to cross-reference this bullshit. But that the whole antidepressant craze might have been a put on. Now, we're not talking about giving speed to hyper kids or an actual, up or down or left or righter. I think it was some. I'd have to look it up what it was. But I had two people that lived in a stupor from shit for a while, so I believe exactly what. I took it hook, line, and sinker instantly because I'm pretty sure the machine wants to make you sick and then give you the medicine to maintain your illness. I don't think they ever want to cure you. Ever.
Sedative, depression, a gateway to designer medicines that help to reach existential peace. Big pharma's charge a hefty fee for that recipe. Here we are addicted to dystopioids, pushing in the slump back and hope for joy. Here we are addicted to dystopioids, open wide cry, try to choke the void. With these drugs get by, keeps us numb from this life. We fuss and we fight, with each rush we decline. And we're only as different as the isms of our algorithms, branching out but our roots fight, with each rush we decline. And we're only as different as the isms of our algorithms, branching out but our roots twist around the system. Let's talk, sit, measure up our politics, listen to the opposites, but seldom we.
There you go. Because see, I always believe that I'm probably, an opinionated asshole, kind of outspoken. But on the regular, trying to reference some natural law items, some do no harm, some universal truths, and the fact that for a long time, somewhere in the middle, especially when I'm listening to stuff that this comes out, I don't like genres, but just say more thought-provoking lyrical content music. I don't care what the background, what the backbeat is. That there's a middle ground, and the ultimate truth is just like energies flowing in directions or in harmony, right? Perfect, the vibrational field that cures illness or burns, crumbles a building to a ground. And then that zone in the middle where we can, I said it a bunch of times, air our grievances or put the shit on the table and go, okay, that's pretty opinionated. That's kind of one-sided, but we all kind of agree on this thing. Like tomorrow would be cool. If we could all have this conversation again tomorrow, same time, same place, same mostly free and open environments, that'd be a good starting place, right? Instead of, hey, burn it all down and who gives a fuck? That ain't getting us far at all.
We fight, with each rush we decline. And we're only as different as the isms of our algorithms, branching out but our roots twist around the system. Let's talk, sit, measure up our politics, listen to the opposites, but seldom we acknowledge it. In a crowded city where the broken spirits live.
And not only acknowledged, but referenced today in multiple occasions, that the differences are actually so minute that the individual bubbles, cliques, cults, if you will, where the ideological differences are strongest. They just can't see it. They can't see this and this are the same picture. Because to them, they look opposite, but they're not. In the middle, you technically agree, you just don't see it. And, yeah, that's so good, so interesting. So
we acknowledge it in a crowded city where the broken spirits live. Cost of living crisis holds a mirror to our privilege. Dinosaurs beheld a rock called Armageddon fools. We'll swap a comet for autonomy to end it all. The clock ticks, the nukes are set. Respond quick, pollute what's left. We are toxic, no news is best. Stop, what a convoluted mess. But whether a peasant or petulant king, endeavoring heaven or secular wings, measured by blessings or measured by things, repellent of weather, dressing the sting. Whatever you're meant to be, let it be free. In depth with your energy, speckled in dreams. Remember that we are sentient beings, forever's a meme. We are not evergreen leaves. Here we are addicted to dystopioids. Push it in, slump back and hope for joy. Here we are addicted to dystopioids. Open wide, cry, try to choke the void. With these drugs, we get by. Keeps us numb from this life. We fuss and we fight. With each rush, we decline. Here we are addicted to dystopioids. Push it in, slump back and hope for joy. Here we are addicted to dystopioids. Open wide, cry, try to choke the void. With these drugs, we get by. Keeps us numb from this life. We fuss and we fight. With each rush, we decline.
A beast that gallops towards our precipice. An alien success masks the smell of rotted dreams. Screams are passed off as the screeching wheels of industry. Bright illusions of our desires plunder blinds us. We are numb.
So numb.
that's so good. I don't align quite at the end there. Just the little guy. I like it all because I was just talking about it today about, and I think it was in the lyrical content right here. I believe the unfortunate truth is the will to do something. Let's see, okay, you're telling a story. And it does not matter what you've been through or seen. There's a group of people who will enjoy a way of telling that story. And it could be a comedy, tragedy, whatever. Another group, has their same story, comedy, tragedy, whatever. But at the core is that whatever the core joke is, whatever the core drama is, the rest is individual takes on it all. I had a reference it the other day, the Kurosawa film. I referenced too much crap. All I'm saying is technically at the core of every idea is a universal truth. And then we all put our facades on them. And then we think that the paint job we put on the front somehow masks the core structure behind it. And it never does. We actually all need the foundational base, enough strength to keep the roof up, and enough pre-designed thought to keep the whole thing from collapsing in on top of us. And whether that be the cave you dug out of the ground or the godlike towers of Babel that they create with money and power, still just shelter. Eventually you're going to have to deal with Yeah, universal truths that we all would see eye to eye on. I don't know if I understood any of this. I could just drop some drugs and get lost with the rest of the dystopioids as the incoming control system herds me like cattle and does with me what they want. I'm hoping I'm sentient and free thinking enough to push back against those ideas for myself, my loved ones, and even my enemies that probably do no harm. Right? You know, there's a certain set of rules. I would think you'd have every right to the same breath and air that everyone else does. Then there's those lines we cross regularly. Could be the architects of the dystopioid future. If we just got together and told them no. No, pharmaceutical industry, we don't want to be manipulated. But it's that silenced voice that goes unheard. Like here we are. And then you tune into the greatest numbers, the greatest show on earth, and it's sex, drugs, and rock and roll, baby. They'll sell you drugs, they'll sell you the cure, they'll sell you a fucking sandwich to wait for the drugs and the cure. Wait. I think the future started yesterday. Later.